Hello and welcome to the program. I am Ogechuku Ukekwe. The federal government has approved a new national policy on health workforce migration. Disclosing this through a post on X, the Minister of Health, Ali Pate, reaffirmed the government's commitment to tackling the challenges surrounding healthcare human resource in the country. He said President Bola Tinubu presided over Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, where the policy was approved. According to Pate, the goal of the new policy is to encourage the return and reintegration of Nigerian health professionals from the diaspora. He said that the policy aims to streamline registration processes and provide incentive to attract skilled professionals back to Nigeria, thereby strengthening the healthcare system. The federal government has donated medical equipment to the Ijebu-Jesha General Hospital, Oriade local government area of Osun State. According to reports, the equipment was donated through the National Lottery Trust Fund. Speaking during the donation, the Executive Secretary of NLTF, Tosin Ayedunju, said that the donation was done under President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope Health Integration Program. Ayedunju said that the donated equipment was a project funded by the NLTF under its approved lottery for good causes intervention in health. He urged people in the community to take ownership of the equipment and utilize the appropriate for the benefits of the citizens. The Nasarawa state government has said no fewer than 41,000 women in rural and urban areas of the state are currently accessing family planning under 4 years integrated projects. According to reports, the integrated project, which is being implemented by the Society for Family Health Population Council and Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, amongst others, is an initiative co-founded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, targeted at increasing services delivery on family planning among community, pharmacists, patients, and medicine vendors. Speaking at the Integrated MILD Project meeting in Lafia, the Reproductive and Family Planning Coordinator of the State Ministry of Health, Salome Aye, explains that the statistics of over 41,000 was for women who were currently assessing family planning from the private CPS and PPMVs across the 13 local government areas of the state. He narrated that the state government had to give minimum support to the CPS and PPMVs to administrative family planning to women in the state in order to tackle issues relating to maternal and child mortality. We'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The United Nations in Nigeria has underscored the crucial need for universal access to sexual and reproductive health care services as part of its agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, with recommendation for collaborative efforts among various stakeholders to implement effective family planning measures, enhance information and education to integrate reproductive health into national strategies and programs. In line with these global goals, significant strides are underway in Nigeria to address these issues. Notably, Nguvu chain leader Mercy Ayedu launched an impactful campaign to advance reproductive health services for young people. Her petition, which is now available for support, calls on the Minister of Health and the Chairman of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency Board to prioritize the implementation of national guidance for integrating adolescent and youth-friendly services into primary healthcare facilities across Nigeria. With me on the program is Nguvu chain leader from Nguvu Collective, Mercy Ayedu, who launched the petition for better sexual and reproductive healthcare services in Nigeria. Thank you for joining me on the program. So can you tell us what motivated and inspired you to launch this campaign for better sex and reproductive healthcare service in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you for having me. Good afternoon. I am Nguvu Change Leader Mercy Ayedo from the Nguvu Collective, just as you said. All right, I'm a public health specialist with a specialty in health promotion and education. So before gaining admission to study microbiology with my undergraduate course, as a teenager, I also experienced some reproductive health challenges, which I didn't have opportunity to speak out about because, there's this um, fear about the fact that, oh, when you say things about your reproductive organ, is it that the person is promiscuous? So, but mom helped me from time to time. We'll go to the pharmacy with treats. But as I got into the university, I realized that over time, once issues relating to reproductive health are not addressed on time, it could lead to severe consequences. Now, after I graduated from my MPH program in Ecuador, I was part of the NPAR government scheme NPAR, and then I was posted to one of the primary healthcare centers in my community. I can tell you that most times most people you see there are actually children under 5 and pregnant women coming for antenatal. I don't see young persons come around. And the question is why? They are faced with a lot of issues. I know that if this had happened to me, then definitely it would have happened to several others. I see some of them with unwanted pregnancies, and I was like, things like this could have been avoided if they had well informed on issues pertaining to their sexual reproductive health. There's this stigma out there. So I'm feeling that the primary healthcare centers can play a huge role in helping these young ones by creating awareness and making the place a safe haven for them to access healthcare. Before now, for you to access healthcare, you might have to go to secondary health centers, but these ones are closer. And if we have well-trained medical personnel, healthcare personnel, they'll be able to address this and to help the society in the long run, because these young ones are the future, and it will help to control cases like unwanted pregnancy or even permanent damage to reproductive health, reproductive organs in the body. So I felt this should be, and then I went through while looking at this campaign, I saw that there was already an existing guideline, but it has not been effected. So I'm calling on, that's why I decided, okay, we have this on ground. That means it's not just pertaining to me. I'm not the only one with this belief that something needs to be done to help this younger generation, but it's just the need for it to be effected. Thank you.
So what are some of these major challenges Nigeria faces in implementing the national guidelines for integrating adolescent and youthful-friendly services into the PHC's facilities?
Okay, I think the first will be the fact that you might say, okay, the health sector is, first of all, underfunded. They already have lots of services that needs to be run, but there are no funds. So having to bring this in will require much more funding. But I think since if we consider this youth as important to us, we should be able to give it what it takes to help. Secondly, will be maybe the fact that they feel when you address reproductive health instances, you're promoting promiscuity. But it's not really true. So sometimes these young ones actually go into risky sexual behaviors because they lack information. You would agree with me that out there we have lots of wrong information due to the advent of social media and even peer pressure. But if they have access to these health centers where you have sensitizations done often to help these youths realize that they have control over their sexual health when they have this right information at their fingertips. And then parents too need to know that they need to draw closer to their younger ones and give them room to speak out when they have issues pertaining to their health, and not just keep it to themselves, because in the process of keeping it, it could lead to something much more damaging.
So why do you think there has been gaps between policy creation and actual implementation in Nigeria's reproductive health sectors?
Then most times, like when my lecturer used to say, while undergoing that, he says Nigeria has we have lots of policies tucked in different cabinets. We can sit and have meetings, just talk about the reproductive health, inculcating this adolescent reproductive health. There are guidelines as far back as 2013, but it has not been implemented. So implementation is key. It's not only in the area of adolescent reproductive. There are several good policies there waiting for implementation. And I think key stakeholders just need a reminder, a constant reminder to the fact that it's going to be for the good of everyone when we don't just stop at creating policies, but ensuring that they're implemented. Sometimes they could look at the cost of implementing, but beyond the cost, let's look at the impact it's going to make in the life of these young ones. And that's why my campaign is out there to say that once again that there is need for this to be done so as to help reduce the rate of issues surrounding the reproductive health of adolescents.
What impact do you hope that this petition will have on the lives of young people in Nigeria, and also elaborate on the specific goals of the petition?
Okay, this campaign is going to help ensure that the barrier youths or young adults face in accessing healthcare is being reduced. And the fact that when this is done, there's going to be training of healthcare supporters who will know how to address confidentiality. Sometimes it's not as if these younger ones don't want to seek help, but it's just that the society is already stigmatizing them, so they don't want to be addressed as what they are not. Sometimes it's not only about STIs or unwanted pregnancies. It could be just as little as having a hygiene-related illness that requires just easy medication, but it has to be done properly and not by just going and getting over-the-counter drugs. And I feel this is going to help a long way in ensuring that the health of the young ones are addressed.
Okay. What role do you see our Nigerian government playing in addressing the gaps in sexual and reproductive health services for youths?
Okay, creating more awareness through jingles to put an end to the stigma in relation to sexual reproductive health. And I feel there are organizations that are doing greatly in this regard. We just need support from the government. For instance, there were programs like I Need to Know then that used to be played online for teenagers. I always wanted to watch that program because I learned a lot through that. Another is I think Sugar, which address issues of HIV/AIDS and risky sexual practices among young ones. If this is also brought into our society, I think the young ones would be able to, they'll have much more information, they'll be much more informed and know how their sexual practices need to be, that they have to be intentional about their sexual practices because of the impact it's going to have on them and on the society at large. And support in the area of financing, all this we're talking about is going to require finance. So there should be an increase in the allocation to health care services in the budget, and ensuring that the guideline for the inculcation of adolescents and reproductive health care services is taken seriously.
How does this petition align with Nigerians' commitment to achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as the SDGs, by 2030?
Okay, yes, the SDG goal 2030 goal 3 talks about good health, general health, and especially point 7, which addresses this issue we're talking about, the reproductive health. It has several other areas of health, but sexual and reproductive health is of major impact in SDG 3.7. So if this is addressed, you'll find that the younger ones would be able to have better control over their health, and this will span to other areas of their life. They know that people care about them. You know, when you're assessing the health services at this, it's not just going to be only to the reproductive health. They could assess their emotional health, physical health, and health is wealth. The moment a person is whole, physically, emotionally, psychologically, he can face other areas of his life squarely. But if a child is emotionally troubled, maybe as a result of effect of a decision he or she took based on not having information, it can affect all others. Or for instance, a child comes down with unwanted pregnancy, that girl is going to have to, if in school already, stay off school at that time. And sometimes it's always difficult to go back without support, especially if she doesn't have support from parents and people. She just, that child is almost like not going to be economically buoyant to face other things. So if you address just that area, you see it spanning to other parts of the SDG goals.
So how can individuals and organizations support the petition and the broader campaign for better sexual and reproductive health care service in Nigeria?
Okay, that's a clarion call. That's why I'm here to say, okay, I've started this. Everyone should become aware of the impact of this little need I'm pushing out, that the younger ones are actually needing us at this time to support them in this regard. Let us not show that they can do things by, let's not leave them to themselves. Let us come out and support them by ensuring that in our little corners, we do not stigmatize them when they have issues, when they have questions regarding their reproductive health. Let us be open to this young generation. They are at the phase where they can be confused, moving, especially for the adolescents. They are just moving from the childhood and approaching adulthood. In between that phase, they are sometimes confused, trying to find their identity. So we older ones, the governments, NGOs should help them at this point by creating opportunity for them to speak out. And when they come seeking for help, let us be there to help them out and show them where to get right information and help. For instance, a young person comes, you see a young person disturbed. You should, as a person, be able to say, "Oh, what is happening to you at this time?" and help in that regard. Let us not push them out to get information that may not be helpful to them, especially for parents. This is a clarion call to parents. Let us be closer to this generation. They have a whole lot to discuss with us, but we just need to give them listening ears.
What are the next steps after gathering signatures for this your petition?
If we get enough signatures, we can push further to meeting with the chairman of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, as well as also finding a way to push this also to the Ministry of Health, so that they can know that it's not just a cause for one person. It is a voice by lots of persons, and it is long overdue for this to be materialized.
Why is it important to integrate comprehensive sexuality awareness, that's the awareness you talked about, program into national strategies and programs in Nigeria?
Sorry, can you come again? You said, why is it important
Why
to?
is it important to integrate comprehensive sexuality awareness, the awareness you talked about, that's the awareness program,
Yeah.
into national strategies and programs in Nigeria?
Yes, it's important to inculcate this because it will be coming from a viable source, a source that yes can be seen as concrete and not just from any quarters. It shows that this information is valid and is going to be impactful in their life. There are lots of information on the social media that are misleading, but when it's coming from this quarters, it holds a lot of weight and people will see it as important and work with.
How does lack of proper sexual and reproductive health education affect young people in Nigeria? And also explain what can be done to change this.
Okay. Um, if a child is not well informed, there's a high possibility that that child is going to be deformed.
Okay.
And we have out there information that are not true. Social media has its positives, but it also has its negative. And we see um, lots of things out there that is really making the minds of young people begin to believe things that they're not supposed to believe as true. So when these um, guidelines are implemented, would have dissemination of information through jingles and go into the social media space and push in the right information. There is no vacuum in nature. If we don't give the right information, the wrong information will always be out there. So it's for us to push efforts into ensuring that the information out there is positive and befitting for the younger ones to take in so that it pushes the wrong information or gives it at least give it something to fight for and not just us staying aloof and just expecting things to happen because it's going to affect this generation where sometimes they don't know the impact of these wrong choices they make until it happens. But public health, my study of public health has made me know that prevention is always better than cure. So if we can identify this as a possible challenge, then what are the solutions we can provide? And let's do this so as to prevent future future problems.
Well, Nguvu Change Leader from Nguvu Collective, Mercy Ayedun, thank you for speaking with us on the program.
Thank you for having me on 316 Health.
And that's all we can take on this episode of the program. Many thanks for watching. I am Ogechukwu Okekwe. Bye for now.